Chapter 7: Don't turn into human spam. Uh, I first of all I recite the quote, a quote by Richard Ford. When people realize they are being listened to, they tell you things. They tell you things. Section 1: Shut up and listen. When I was in college, there was always one classmate in every creative writing workshop who claimed, "I love to write, but I don't like to read." It was evident right away that you could pretty much write that kid off completely. As every writer knows, if you want to be a writer, you have to be a reader first. The writing community is full of lame old people who want to be published in journals, even though they don't read the magazines that they want to be published in. Says writer say they published in this pupil deserve the rejections that they will undoubtedly receive, and no one should feel sorry for them when they cry about how they can't get anyone to accept their stories. Said by writer Dan Kyon, sorry. I call this people human spam. They are everywhere, and they exist in every passion, in every profession. Sorry, they don't want to pay their dues. They want their piece right here, right now. They don't want to listen to your ideas. They want to tell you theirs. They don't want to go shows, but the thrust flares at you on the sidewalk, and scream at you to come to theirs. You should feel pity for these people and their delusions. At some point, they didn't get the memo that the world owes none of us anything. Of course, you don't have to be a nobody to be human spam. I have watched plenty of interesting, successful people slowly turn into it. The world becomes all about them and their work. They can't find the time to be interested in anything other than themselves. Hoarder, contributor, spammer. Oversharing makes you a spammer. Little nothing sharing make you a hoarder. And if you share in if you know how to share, how much to share, you are becoming you're becoming a contributor. Oh, I love this. Okay. No matter what, how famous they get, the forward thinking, the forward thinking artists of today are not just looking for fans or passive consumers of their work. They are looking for potential collaborators, or co-conspirators. This artist these artists acknowledge that good work isn't created in a vacuum, and that the experience of art is always a two-way street, incomplete with feedback, incomplete without feedback. The artists hang out online and answer questions. They ask for reading recommendations. They chat with fans about the stuff they love. The music producer, Adrian Adrian Young, was hanging out on Twitter one day and tweeted, "Who is better, the dramatics or the Delphonics?" As his followers interrupted in a debate over the two soul groups. One follower mentioned that the lead singer of the Delphonics, William Hart, was a friend of his dad's, and that Hart just happened to be a fan of Young's music. The follower suggested that the two should the two should collaborate to make a long story short. Young says a day later, I am on the phone with William Hart, and we're speaking like for and we are speaking like for 2 hours. We hit it off in a way that just cosmic. Sorry. Young then produced a brand new record with Hart as Adrian Young. Adrian Young presents the Delphonics. That story is great for two reasons. One, it is the only story of an album I knew whose whose existence can be traced to be a single tweet. Two, it shows what happens when a musician interacts with his fans on the level of a fan himself. If you want fans, you have to be a fan first. If you want to be accepted by a community, you have to first be a good citizen of that community. If you are only pointing to your own stuff online, you are doing it wrong. You have to be a connector. The writer blake 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 Butler calls this being an open note. If you want to get, you have to give. If you want to be noticed, you have to notice. Shut up and listen once in a while, but thoughtful. Be be considerate. Don't turn into human spam. Be an open node. Jeffrey Zeldman quoted, what you want is to follow and be followed by human beings who care about issues you care about. These things we make together. These things is about hearts and minds, not eyeballs. You want hearts, you want hearts, not eyeballs. Stop worrying about how many people follow you online, and start worrying about the quality of people who follow you. Don't waste your time reading articles about how to get more followers. Don't waste time following people online because you think it will get you somewhere. Don't talk to people you don't want to talk, and don't talk about stuff you don't want to talk about. If you want followers, be someone worth following. Worth following. Donald Don- Donald Donald Barthel Donald Barthelme Donald Barthelme supposedly said to one of his students, have you tried making yourself a more interesting person? This seems like a really mean thing to say, unless you think of the word interesting the way writer Lawrence Whistler does. For him to be interesting is to be curious and attentive, and to practice the continual projection of interest. To put it more simply, if you want to be interesting, you have to be interested first. It is actually true that life is all about who you know, but you know is largely dependent on who you are and what you do, and the people you know can't do anything if sorry anything for you if you are not doing good work. Continuous sorry connections don't mean shit. I have never had any connections that weren't a natural outgrowth of doing things I was doing anyway anyway. First line says by record producer Steve Albini, and second quote also said by quoted by Albini. Albini Albini laments How many people waste time and energy trying to make connections instead of getting good at what they do? When being good at things is only thing that earns you clout or connections. Make stuff you love and make stuff you love and talk about you love, and you will attract people who love that kind of stuff. It is that simple. Don't be creepy. Don't be a jerk. Don't waste people's time. Don't ask too much, and don't ever ask people to follow you. Follow me back is the saddest question on the internet. Be a good date to everybody. Look, listen, learn how to work with other brains. Give credit and get out the anyway. The vampire test. Derek Siever say Derek Siever quoted, whatever exists you, go do it. Whatever drains you, stop doing it. There is a funny story. There is a funny story in John Richardson's biography, A Life of Picasso. Pablo Picasso was notorious for sucking all the energy out of the people he met. His granddaughter his granddaughter Mar- his granddaughter Marina claimed that he squeezed people like one of his tubes of oil paints. You would have a great time hanging out all day with Picasso, and then you would go home nervous and exhausted, and Picasso would go back to his studio and paint all night, using the energy he would stuck out of you. Most people put up with this because they got to hang out with Picasso all day, but not constant but not Constantine Brancusi, the Romanian born sculptor. Brancusi Brancusi hailed from the Carpathian Mountains. Hailed Bran- Brancusi hailed from the Carpathian Mountains, and he knew a vampire when he saw one. He was not to have his energy or the fruits of his energy juiced by Picasso. So he refused to have anything to do with him. Brancusi practiced what I call the vampire test. It is a simple way to know who you should let in and out of your life. If after hanging out with someone you feel worn out and depleted, that person is vampire. If after hanging out with someone you still feel full energy, that person is not a vampire. Of course, the vampire test works on many things in our lives, not just people. You can apply it to jobs, hobbies, places, etc. Vampires cannot be cured. Sorry, vampire cannot be cured. Should you find yourself in the presence of a vampire, be like Brancusi, and banish it, and banish it from your life forever. Catch and release only. Henry Miller quoted, part of the act of creating is in discovering your own kind. They are everywhere, but don't look for them in the wrong places. Said by Henry Miller.